G'day and welcome to Craft With Us Oz. I'd like to thank you for joining us today. We are going to make a really pretty little Christmas card that would be great for a production line card. So these are a couple of examples. You can see that they're all made using the same design layout. So let's get started. We'll make this nice easy one today. This is a kit that I make up for my classes and I also have available. So I'm just going to take out some of the pieces that I'm going to use. So a little piece of patterned paper, our card base, and this is the top matte piece that I'm going to use. We'll also use a little bit of bling. So this particular card size, which is a top fold card, is half of this larger card. The original card size is 7 inches, I beg your pardon, by 5 inches, and cut down it's 2.5 across and 3.5 down. That smaller size, by the way, will fit into what's called an 11B envelope, and I picked up a packet of them from Officeworks quite cheaply. So this matte card that I'm using is a 3.25 inch by 2.25 inch. This will give me a small border around the edge of the card. The very first thing that I'm going to do is add my sentiment. I'm going to emboss this piece, so it's always really a good idea to stamp it first, so then you don't have to worry about the different levels when when stamping if you emboss it first. I'm just using some, I think it's Night of Navy from Stampin' Up here. You can see that I'm using a stamping tool here, and that worked out really well. That I'm glad I did that, because you can see that my stamp didn't work too good. So I'm just going to re-ink it and stamp it again, and it stays perfectly lined up. Now, I had a problem with my video, so you don't actually see me running this through the die cutter to cut the circle and the embossing, but I did put it through. What I'm doing now is just I've covered the back with double-sided tape. This double-sided foam tape I've used to give it a bit of dimension. I picked up from Bunnings. It's really quite cheap and it's great. I'm placing the pattern paper on here. So when you do this, you've just got to remember to put the pattern face down. I did it once without the pattern face down, and well, that was a disaster. Just going to pop some wet glue on the back of that patterned paper area. You could use double-sided tape if you wanted to, just flat tape, and I'm just going to position it over on the card front. I always like to make them nice and straight if possible. So I'm going to grab some matching ribbon, and I've just made a nice little bow with it. So I'm just cutting little banner edges with it, adjusting my bow because I like them to be perfect as well. So we'll just cut that, and when we put it on top of our little bauble, I'll just use some glue to stick it up there. You can use double-sided tape or a glue dot if you have them handy. And when it is there, you'll see that it looks like a Christmas bauble. It's just beautiful. There you go. I am going to use double-sided tape on it, and I'll probably use a bit of wet glue as well. Position that nicely. Remove the backing. And pop that on. Okay, so now let's just add a little bit of bling to it, which is what I'm doing here. Every card has got to have bling, particularly at Christmas time. And we're done. What a nice simple little project. So you can see from these photos that I have used exactly the same process for all of the cards. So you can change it up if you get a little bored with exactly the same design. I'd really like to thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a happy and safe week. See you next time.